Alright guys, in the follow-up we are going to do the replacing and move forward with the rest of the items. I have written the operator, empty, and the number here, and now we go to the next item, which is what color they should have, which color the numbers should have. Of course, not yet the operators. Right now we just want to see the color for numbers beside the numbers and give them a color in proportion to their setting. This color and here from 1 right here, what I do is I write dot number, okay, and dot empty. Alright, open closed brackets. I say the background color needs to be exactly sharp. I use the hexadecimal codes. I say, yeah, header, def, and as you see here, the color that I want is that. Okay, alright, so that's up to now. Now I go to the numbers and operator. I want to change the cursor. When I move the mouse cursor, what I want to happen is that on this operator no changes occur, but in the real project it changes into a hand pointer. In order to make the same thing happen with our cursors project, or projects cursor, sorry, a dot, say right dot operator along with, let's see, numbers. Okay, and I say cursor, that's right, needs to become pointer like this. This is what I'm looking for. Very well. Up to here everything is alright. Now what I do is that I let another item for it. I say my operators and numbers would be in an active state or mode, so that I can actually work with them. Alright, now I need to say my dot operator colon active by default and dot number colon active by default. I have open closed brackets. I say font size needs to be 13. Okay, 13 pixels is alright. The operators that are active now, here we have them like this. Now we want to see the focus as an output. Alright, and we want to give them the 0 value on the operator and the numbers and empty all of these. We want to, by clicking, make them active. Okay, now we want to see something else. We want to have the focus by default. That is, I say my dot operator colon focus along with dot number colon focus and finally dot empty. Focus would be set over here. I say is outline equals 0, just that. And as you see right here, we don't have the border around it, whereas if we don't have this, we would have the border. Now we don't have the border. I comment this. As you see, we don't want to have the blue border. We set the outline as 0 to delete the border. Okay, so up to here we have done this, but the most important thing that we want to do is the replacings, and where each one of the buttons and other calculators would be set. Very well. Now what we do is to say, and starting from the items, first the operation related to these, to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. and we want to do the operations with colors that we want. We have a topic called CSS selector. Regarding CSS selector, we can find the object with a high accuracy and good focus utilizing this item and designated some properties. We had the button. In fact, we have the button here. What are the buttons? The button itself is an element. We want to work with it. We say button colon empty h child. Alright, we want to import a child, and I want to be exactly number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is what I want, so I say number 4 be here. I pass it number 4, and my number 4 is going to be how? I give it first the font size. I say font size 20 pixels. 20 would do. And here I say the background color. The color that I want to give it, the sharp sign 20 by 20. Okay, that's up to here. It is under it, and we won't see it. It is this color code that we have. When we move on them, we would be able to see them clearly as we move on the buttons. The next item, the button that I want to have, I say NTA child. Here it was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8th one is multiply, and I say set the 8 in the CSS selector, and finally I say font size 20 pixels, and now the background color, as you see, has changed now. Okay, background color, and as I said, I say sharp FFA 500. Okay, that's it. That is, we have this one and this one. Now we could here, it is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What is the 12th child? The minus sign. I say button. Okay, empty a child. That's right. 4, 8, 12. You know which one is next. Font size, yep, you guessed it right. I set it as 20 pixels. Okay, background color would be how much? Using the code that I have already written over here. Say sharp. Yeah. FO 8080. And that's how it is exactly here. So I have these 3 buttons now. Here is 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. 16 is the sign for summation or plus. So I say button child 16, open closed bracket. The font size, here I say 20 pixels. I am working on this, and I say the alright, in the follow-up we are going to finish the operations related to the get formatted number function and see how they work. Alright, here now we want to set a condition. Okay, so for the time when we want to enter the data, that is, imagine now I want to do the operations on operators. So I need to first set a condition so that if the value of get num equals in fact this character, now what should it do? Now return an empty value, say return two quotations. As you see here, imagine I say times, nothing happens here. We need to have an input. So if we have an input, we can do the operation related to it. If we don't have any inputs, we cannot work with any of these. Okay, we go to the next item. Here I want to define a variable to be able to work with numbers. The numbers between 1 and 9 and 0. So here I say we are or where a variable such as n. I say number. I use the number interface over here. In the parentheses I say get num. We are going to have the input on num. I set the semicolon. I want to define another variable called, I said inside it we are going to do a certain action. What is that action? I say the n variable that equals num dot to local a string, that is I am supposed to define the variable in a string. Define a local string, I say en. En here is in fact, there is an explanation to be given in order to change the numbers to a string format. Here we need to use this method. What this method does is to receive a number and change it to a string in its local string, and after it has done so, now return the value. I say return value. That's up to here. Now we need another item here. Here I set it as 100, for instance 10,000. The character that is being separated 3 by 3. Now we need to see how it is done. I define a function and I call it for instance what should we set the name as? I say now reverse number. Let's set it as reverse. It would be better. Reverse. Okay, that's it. REVRSE number. Format. What is it going to get? It is going to get num. The get num that we are going to work with here, the function has an input, its argument is get num. Now we say separate. Separate what? Return the number that I had, and it has changed to a string now. In parentheses I say get the number from me. When you get the num dot replace dot, okay, replace. Okay, that is replace, replace. Okay, now it says with what? I say first with the first value, set the comma, the character, and here say two quotations, that is any item that you see here. I will explain what GS stands for. Here I will explain. Just let me complete the code structure so that we will be able to perform more operations over here. Very well. Now what I do is to define a variable for the operators. Up to now we have focused on the format of these numbers and the input and output. Now we want to work on the operators. What are the operators going to do? Well, they are going to do the multiplication, deduction, and other operators. So first we define a variable called operator. The value would be set inside a document dot get element by class name. Okay, not ID. ID is related to the data, but we want to work with operators. The operators in the HTML structure have been defined with class. Now this section is done, and now we are working on the operators and their functions. Here they are class. So we say operator by class. Name, we want to have the name of the class. What is the name of the class that we have here? Operator. Okay, the operator that we had. All right, here. Let me hit Control K C. Alright, we don't have Control KC. We need to use these two characters. The difference is here I comment in the class name. Okay, here we add a space so that we know how things are. These are the operators. Very well, that's up to here. Now we want to use a for ring so that as long as here in the text input we are getting a number, if it gets a number, print the number by adding 1 to it, and upon clicking it can delete some items based on the clear button. That is, we have a series of data. We add data. In case there is some data, it is going to have control over clear button here and is able to erase them. So as a result, we are going to use a for ring. I say in the for ring at first I want to define a variable directly. I could do it separately, but so that I make things simpler, I say I equals 0 is the default value. After that, I say I inside the variable. I have an operator. The operator that I have here, dot the length of it. I want to get the length, and now I want to add 1 unit to I, which my count I say here that I have added. Now I need to say the operator, which is getting the I item for me. Okay, I want using an add event listener. We are going to pass the listener to the clear button that we have here, and the I that I define is working with the numbers as counters. I say add event listener, an explanation here. Add event listener, as long as it is going to open the data of an attribute, is going to call the argument. It returns the event that we want. What event are we going to use here? With which event we want to do it? I say upon clicking, if a click happened, then pass it the function that I have defined. That is the function that we should receive the values of, and as soon as it is given the values, now do the operation related to it. First I set this over here, and now from here I start writing the next items. I say, what do I say? I say if the current data, this dot ID of it, the dot ID of it equals clear. Okay, the current data equals clear. Then what should it do? Then check the condition here. Say print history that I have written here. Empty its value. Okay, that is when I enter it into a parenthesis, It looks like this. The next item is print out, that is, if the clear is hit, then clear the history that is set over here. Okay, this is the history and the input that is here. The input is print out. I copy this. Okay, and paste parentheses. Finally, like this. Whatever you did to it, do it here. Now, here, of course, I made a mistake. I need to set it like this to correct the code. Alright, that's up to now. This is the if command. Now we want to have an else. Otherwise, if the backspace is hit, what should it do? When the backspace is hit, it is going to clear all the output value using the reverse number that we have. We define the reverse number so that it is going to back one unit, one at a time, like this. As you see, when I hit it, it starts clearing them one by one. But when I hit clear, it clears all the values that are here. So now, what do I want to do? Here I need to use the backspace. What needs to happen if the backspace is clicked? I say this dot id equals, if here this dot id, no, not here, dot backspace, let me have the backspace over here to make things alright. Very well. I close the parentheses. I say if it equals this value, now what should it do? Now I make the output into a variable, and the output equals reverse number format that I wrote. Now what should it do? In fact, get the output. When you get the output, now what should happen next? What should it do? Can you guess? Change it to a string, dot to a string. This is the first operation. The second operation, analyze it using the condition in case the value equals the output. Now what should it do? Now deduct the values one by one from the length and say, okay, output equals output dot substring. Okay, substring or substr. In other languages it is substring. Here in JavaScript we have substr. In fact, substring consists of two methods which are based on length, on the length of the input. We say substr. When we have the substr, it says start from where? It starts from 0 method. The next item is to get the output. What is the output? And now deduct one by one from the length. I say make length minus 1. Okay, that's up to here. This minus 1 occurs. That is, it deducts one by one, and finally what should it do? It needs to print. When I enter here 5, 4, 2, 20, when it deducts one from it, then shows it to me. So I say print the output.